Hey everybody, this is the Real Quaid. I have another gym challenge for you guys to watch. This one is against Scottmonster. It was a really close battle, came right down to the wire, so definitely stick around to the end for this one. But so if you look at his team here, he's got a lot of pretty scary guys. Scissor, Cloyster, Ferrothorn are always tough. Porygon 2 has been notorious for giving me personally a lot of trouble with some of the hacks that I've had when I faced them. So I gotta watch out for them. Feraligatr is a very unique choice. Don't see it very often, so I'm not exactly sure what it's gonna come at me with. But let's just get this thing going here and stick around. Like I said, it's a really close battle. It comes down. It's a 1-0 victory for whoever wins. I'll keep it a secret. But so I wasn't sure exactly what he was going to go with. He decides to lead with his Infernape. I went with my Venomoth because, like I said, he had a number of options and none of them were really in my favor. So I figure I'll go for Venomoth. He comes at me with the Flare Blitz, which is basically what I expected. So kind of hoping not for a burn. I don't really expect it. I think the burn chance is quite low on it. So Venomoth sticks around with its Focus Sash, so everything's going as planned. He's going to take a nice chunk from recoil damage, go for the Sleep Powder, and I miss. So already off to a bad start. Venomoth is severely crippled right now. It's not going to survive anything that Infernape's going to throw at it. So he comes at me with another Flare Blitz. Tentacruel's not going to mind this at all. So he's, with the resistances and his natural toughness, he's going to take that no problem. So heals off a little bit with the Black Sludge. I expected a switch here, which he does. He brings back his Infernape and goes for his Porygon 2, probably expecting that there's not much I can do against it, which with Tentacruel is actually a pretty safe bet. So I went for the Toxic Spikes on this one. I was expecting a switch, so I figured I'd get something set up over there, because most of his Pokemon are hampered by the Toxic Spikes. So that'll help me out in the long run. I'm expecting a Thunderbolt, so I switch for the Nidoking, get the free switch, and sure enough, there it is, Thunderbolt. Now, I immediately switch my Nidoking out to my Medicham. A little minor lapse in judgment, wasn't major overall. For some reason I was under the assumption that fighting was resistant to ice, which it actually is not. But so Medicham actually survives this without too big of a problem. Goes for the big high jump kick. If you'll remember from the previous video where it missed, this is basically what would have happened if it were to hit. So one shots Porygon 2, no problem. So he sends out his Ferrothorn. I thought this was a very sketchy choice, because I was actually expecting a Protect, that if he were to Protect, Medicham would crash into the wall, absolutely, and it would actually end up knocking out Medicham with no problem. But he doesn't. He goes for the Leech Seed, which Venomoth is already hampered at this point, so he's not going to mind. I was hoping he would go for Rocks or something, allow Venomoth the turn for the Sleep Powder, but didn't work out that way. So I go for the Nidoking, scare him off a little bit. There's the Protect, so now I know for sure that he has it. So I need to be very careful if I have Medicham against Ferrothorn, because a Protect against a high jump kick will ruin Medicham and then knock him out, no problem. So I was going for another Fire Blast. I'm really scared by what Ferrothorn has to offer, so Feraligatr's going to tank this pretty good, but Nidoking's power is quite high. So it does a decent chunk of damage. He's poisoned with the Toxic Spikes, so that's good for me. So I'm expecting a Waterfall of some kind of strong water move, so I switch out, I go for Tentacruel. Sure enough, he comes at me with a Waterfall. Tentacruel, again, he's got some nice bulk to it, enough resistance to the water type, he takes that pretty good. And then I notice he has a Life Orb on that, so he's taking extra damage. 10% there, he's going to take another 12.5 from the poison, so he just keeps dropping lower and lower. So I did not know that he had Earthquake. That would have been nice to know. I probably would have swapped out Tentacruel for Yanmega for the free switch, and then finished him with Yanmega. But unfortunately, I lose my Tentacruel as a result of that. His Feraligatr is still able to stick around just long enough to survive. So I send out my Scissor. I'm hoping I'll scare him away. So I could have finished him with a bullet punch, but like I said, I wanted him to switch, and then I went for the U-turn because in the case that he did switch, which is actually what I expected, I would be in the favorable position. But you can see Feraligator's got some big power. He really hampered Scissor pretty good on that shot. So the U-turn fails, obviously, now that Feraligator's out of the picture. So he brings back his Infernape, who's going to get poisoned now. He's already at half health. Now at this point, Scissor was pretty much the Pokemon I was most willing to sacrifice. I didn't want to... He had, you know, the lowest amount of health, and he didn't have a whole lot of utility left for the rest of my team, which ended up working out well because he critted me, which would have possibly even one-shotted anyone I still had on my team. So his Infernape's taken down with the poison damage and the recoil damage, so I go for the Medicham to finish him off. No problem with the Psycho Cut, but he's actually faster than I am, so now I know he's Choice Scarfed, because it's the only way he would have been able to outspeed my own Scarfed Medicham. So I know he's locked into it. I don't have my Tentacruel anymore, which is why Infernape is ravaging my team here. If I had Tentacruel, he'd be able to tank that pretty good, but I don't. So I have my Yanmega, hoping that he'll survive something. His defenses aren't too great, and especially my Yanmega is built for offense, so I'm just hoping on hope that he'll survive this and be able to roost off whatever damage that was done, but he doesn't. He goes down in one shot. So Infernape's doing a pretty good job of running through the rest of my team here. So I'm actually down... I believe I'm down to my last Pokemon at this point. Yes, I am. So he sends out his Ferrothorn. I send out my Nidoking. It's my last hope for anything. Nidoking is a very favorable matchup against Ferrothorn. His Fire Blast will knock it out easily in one blow. Goes for the Protect, so the Fire Blast will miss, which is kind of what I expected. He then brings back Ferrothorn and sends out his Cloyster. So Cloyster is neutral to Fire Blast, thankfully. He's poisoned by the spikes, which is great. It's going to help out I know he's Focus Sash, so that'll come into play. But Nidoking hits him with a Fire Blast, gets a crit. I'm fairly certain it wouldn't have mattered, because Cloyster's special defenses are terrible, and thanks to the Toxic Spikes, Cloyster goes down in one shot, no problem. So he brings back Ferrothorn once again. I tried to finish him off. He goes for another Protect. At this point I realize he's trying to stall out the PP of my Fire Blast. So I actually went for the Ice Beam, because I was having none of that. He protects again, but it fails. I go for the Fire Blast, which actually misses. So we got a turn of wasted efforts here. Go for another Fire Blast. That one's going to land. Ferrothorn is down, no problem. So Nidoking is bringing me back from the edge of defeat here. Doing pretty good. I actually did not remember what his final Pokemon was, so it was kind of a mystery. I knew it was a favorable matchup for Nidoking, though, otherwise he would have sent him out. But it is a Scissor. So he goes for the Bullet Punch. Nidoking has already survived Scissor's Bullet Punch from somebody else. I don't remember who it was. So I knew he would survive it unless if he would have critted me, Nidoking would have fallen for sure. Plus there's always the chance that Fire Blast will miss. Thankfully it didn't. So Nidoking landed his shots when he needed to, brought me back from the brink of defeat, and a very good game to Scottmonster. I look forward to another challenge soon in the future. It was a real close game. It could have gone either way. Now I know his Feraligator's got Earthquake, so Tentacruel does a pretty good job of walling a lot of his Pokemon, so now that I know he's not going to be able to wall Feraligator that well, I can protect it in other ways. Some double switches here and there and stuff like that. But good game. It was a nice win this is the first win I had for my gym, so it's nice to get in the win column there. So that's all I have for now, and I'll see you guys next time.